Now more than ever is a phrase I'd like to stop hearing, but it's also when I, like many others, have been the most at my desk yet. I've gotten very well acquainted with every nook and cranny of this thing in the past year, if I wasn't already. I spend a lot of time at my desk regardless. I also fill those aforementioned nooks and crannies with a lot of stuff, both useful and not. My Patreon supporters just barely voted for this to be the next vlog, so I give you What's on My Desk 2021. This whole idea really grew out of the what's in my bag craze. I've read The Verge for a really long time, and everybody on their team used to do those. They were a lot of fun. I've always really enjoyed what's in my bag posts and videos, but I don't use my backpack anymore, and I don't keep anything in there anymore for my day-to-day, because where am I going? Maybe one day. So in the meantime, I give you my desk. My desk is laid out in all kinds of cubbies and tiers and layers, so I'm gonna do my best to cover things largely bottom to top, left to right, and front to back. This ensures that we start with possibly the most beloved and certainly the most used object on my desk, my keyboard. My keyboard is a Varmilo VA87M with Cherry MX silent red switches and a combination of the stock Moonlight keycap colorway and this set of classic Photoshop keycaps from kbdfans.com. My previous keyboard was extremely clicky, so I really love the pleasing thok that these keys produce. This is the most that I'll talk about any object on this desk, probably. I'll stop now. Next up is my mouse, which is just a regular old Microsoft Comfort mouse. It's got buttons on the sides. I like it. On the right is where I keep my MacBook Pro. This is the 15-inch 2017 model. Last summer it stopped holding a charge and died, and I had to send it back to Apple, where they wiped the hard drive for no reason. And I'll never truly know what I've lost, but at least that trauma didn't cost me anything. At this end of the desk, I have my mic stand that I use for podcasting, voiceovers, and general voice chat with friends. It's just a cheap little Neewer that probably came from Amazon at some point. Same for the pop filter here. But the mic itself is a Rock Band mic that my friend Zach let me borrow while we were recording a podcast in 2013 that I never returned. It's a surprisingly solid microphone. And Zach doesn't mind, right? Beyond my MacBook, we find the mysterious cubby where I keep notebooks and pens and pencils of varying kinds, some important tax information I should really look at, and my checkbook, because I'm old now and sometimes have to write checks for things. As far as pens and pencils go, I don't like to keep too many over there because I don't like a ton of clutter in my workspace, but I have a handful of these sort of nicer pens. This is a pencil. This is like also a stylus, and there's a screwdriver in there, and it's got like a ruler on it. A couple of pencils. This one that my girlfriend hand sharpened with a knife, and some other like nice pens that I've heard are good for lefties because I'm a lefty. But then also the tools that I most often reach for are this mechanical pencil that my girlfriend bought me at a Goods for the Study here in New York, and it's really nice. This is my favorite pen of all time. It's the Pilot Precise. Oh, this is the V7. I really like the V5 also, but it's the clicky. It's just black. It's just a really solid pen. And I've also got here my pencil from 53, which is just a really important object to me. As far as this stack of notebooks goes, we have this movies notebook that I was using for movie reviews for a while, and then also general video ideas. This story clock workbook from Plot Devices. We've got this old workhorse, which is probably my favorite kind of notebook of all time. This is a Shinola notebook. I understand they also make luxury watches. It's just a really nice hardcover notebook. I love the green color. It lays flat really nice graph paper pages. I use this for freelance stuff, for like keeping track of hours and pay. This is a really nice notebook that I bought at some kind of thrift shop somewhere in the city. This guy is a cool looking old sketchbook that I got a while ago. It's mostly empty. I haven't sketched in it much. We've got an old bullet journal that I used for a long time. This is another really nice, it's sort of hardcover, but you can bend it. It's a really nice notebook. It's got that like fabric. This is the go-to notebook from Chronicle Books. And then finally we have my most used notebook, which is my Hobonichi Techo. This is my life book, they call it. It's a planner. I use it to sort of mark the days, write about what I did in a given day, and any ideas and other things to keep track of, like bills and holidays and birthdays and other events. We'll go under this other cubby next to talk about this modem, because it's just a modem that Spectrum sent me and there's nothing to say about it. I keep it over here because the internet hookup is right over here, and that's why my desk is right here. I swore that I would never again use my desktop over Wi-Fi, and you know what? I said there wasn't a lot to say about this modem. Just in front of the modem is the clip-on lamp that I've had forever, upon which my headphones hang. These are a pretty new pair of Platan 2s from Urban Ears. I've been a fan of theirs for a really long time. I like their headphones, and these are probably only the third pair of headphones I've bought from them in 10 or more years. Also, there's just something about this color. In front of the clip lamp is our first Sonic the Hedgehog of the day. This is a color-changing LED lamp that my friend Zac got me for Christmas this past year. I turn it on at night when I'm editing or playing a game, or whenever I'm thinking of Sonic the Hedgehog. Or Zac. Mostly Sonic. Complete! That sound means we're done with the bottom tier. As you noticed, I like to keep this main work surface pretty empty and tidy because it's where my arms go. I don't really like a lot of clutter in general, but especially where I'm gonna be doing my actual work. It also gives me a lot of space to put empty cereal bowls when I don't feel like getting up to put them in the dishwasher just yet. Tier number 2 is the most cluttered, and I know I said I'd go front to back, but I'm actually gonna start with the big important stuff first before we get to the small important stuff. I have two 21.5-inch monitors elevated up on this shelf. One is an older Acer, and one is an only slightly old Asus. I use the Asus here as my main monitor because it's a little bit nicer, the contrast is a little bit better, and the color reproduction is a little more accurate. My two speakers are these towers from JBL. I have no idea what kind they are beyond that. I stole them from the family Windows XP computer before we gave that away. They sound great. Back behind this layer, we have an old Google on-hub router, which I plugged in once 4 years ago and never had to think about again, and that's why I love it. And my Western Digital 6TB external hard drive, which I named Jumbo Shrimp. That drive houses almost every YouTube video I've ever made, all my old school and goof-off work, every project that I currently work on going forward, and also a complete backup of all of my pictures, music, documents, and other digital artifacts going back many computers worth. If something happened to that drive, I genuinely don't know what I would do. Let's move on. With the big stuff taken care of, we can move on to knickknacks, starting on the left with this patch of electronics. There's a USB-C hub for my nearly portless MacBook, a dongle for my wireless Xbox controller, and two useless Bluetooth dongles. I have tried and failed several times now to grant my PC the ability to pair with my wireless headphones. Sometimes Windows is just, I don't know. Next we have this Lego Han Solo from a trip to New York, which is weird to say because I live there now, a pair of wired Apple earbuds for meetings and phone calls, and our first crop of Amiibo. There's a soft yarn Yoshi from the release of Yoshi's Woolly World, and yes, I still have my Wii U, our second Sonic the Hedgehog of the day, and a Pixel Mario from Mario's 30th anniversary and the release of Super Mario Maker. Again, Wii U. These little guys were another Christmas present last year, the little USPS truck and mailbox. The best thing about this guy, a little hatch opens in the back. You can put a little package. What are you gonna put a little package in there? What are you gonna do? A little USPS truck. On top of the stand for my monitor, we have some commemorative video game coins because that started being a thing for some reason. There's Super Mario Odyssey, Moonlighter, and Dead Cells. We have part of a bigger Digimon collection that lives elsewhere with this D3 Digivice from back in the day, and Crest of Courage that was a present from my sister at some point. The Digivice still works, but I don't keep batteries in it anymore because I would rather it were filled with memories than exploded battery acid. Next up, we have a squishy stress ball slime, also from the Moonlighter Collector's Edition. Before we come to the second crop of Amiibo, we've got Zelda and Urbosa from Breath of the Wild, which were both birthday presents at some point, and then Bayonetta, who I don't remember where she came from, and I've never played a Bayonetta game, but she was my main in Smash Brothers for a while at one point, so she's earned that place in my heart. Next up, we have this fidget spinner that my sister found at a work conference somewhere, and who cares about all that? This thing lights up! Perched atop speaker number 2, we have Grookey from Pokemon Sword and Shield. This little guy was unquestionably my chosen starter from the moment that trailer dropped, and this little plush was a birthday present from my girlfriend 1 year ago.
1 year ago. They don't know. They think they know, but they don't.
Flashlight. Little mini flashlight. I keep it here. Over here. It's useful sometimes. Next to that is a little screwdriver set that I got from my dad ages ago and still use. Back here is a little Irish charm bracelet thing from my buddy Olly, and some twine from a cake box from our local bakery, for some reason. Up front here we have a recent addition in this keychain from the Switch Collector's Edition of Hyper Light Drifter, a very good video game. Next to that is a Kaleidoscope from my trip visiting my girlfriend's family in Arizona. It is from the world's largest kaleidoscope store. Both it and the store are so small, but I guess they can still make that claim. It is filled with kaleidoscopes. A couple of useful bits over here in the SD card reader that I've used to transfer footage for the last 6 years probably, an old micro SD card and adapter, a USB stick that I use for random bits I need to transfer if I ever need to do that, and a fresh copy of Windows 10 that I just keep ready to go from my last clean install, just in case. Between them we have a short stack of Post-its and my first ever starter Pokemon, Agumon. We're in the home stretch now with another fidget spinner, the charging cable from my headphones, and this teeny tiny little measuring tape that I've had forever. It used to have this little label on it, but I had to peel that off in order to get it open after it broke while my sister was apartment hunting, but I'm happy to say it's back in working order. Measuring tapes are really easy to fix, and I think that pretty much does it for my desk. It's undergone a few changes over the years and probably will again. It is basically my workplace after all, but this is the state of things in 2021. There are plenty of other things under and around my desk that go into both my work and other around this area, so if you're interested in seeing the rest of my setup or my PC or the rest of my gear, leave a comment and let me know. If you would like to vote on what it is I vlog about next, or see the next video before it goes up on YouTube, or just throw me a tip because you like what I do, you can do all of that over at patreon.com/eganworks. Thank you very much for watching. That's gonna do it for me, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye.